We are here for another full nice chapter. What chapter 158? Called the I Can't Drop the Attitude. I'm gonna stop singing right now so I can actually talk about how much this chapter will see us
Brother, this
free.
guy stinks!
uh, I'm in a very similarly, more of a similarly sin spirit than I normally am when doing these videos. And like I said in that awful little singing opening, we are gonna talk about chapter 158. I Can't Drop the Attitude, with the cover featuring the Percival platoon with Annie on her horse. I forgot that nigga's name. And Nelson's flying and Donnie just barely there on that stand. With Percival looking down at them with Gawain in immense size there with assets, notable assets being pushed out as well. So now we go to the actual chapter, continuing off where we left off last time with Gawain asking her father Kay what he needs, and that she knows that he's very busy. He's kind of tilting her head and sort of sweating for some reason with Kay sort of with a fed up at like, and informs that her friends are here to see her and asks if he shouldn't have let them in. With Gawain saying that she doesn't have any friends like that until she looks past him and sees the Percival platoon, specifically Percival. With obviously Gawain having the most regular reaction a person would have seeing their dead friend alive and grown, just yells in shock and is in disbelief that Percival is actually back, with Percival saying that, yeah, it's me, who else could it possibly be? And Kay decides to leave them and to have their little gathering, probably off to continue tending to his farm that he thinks is shit but is actually pretty good. And everyone is sort of just left there looking back at Kay while Donnie is whistling, holding some form of potion. You should probably put that shit down. You never know what Gawain might be concocting. And obviously the two most cautious people in the group, Narcians and Anne, sort of come to think that, maybe they'll be reported by him. And Gawain goes on to mention that, yeah, he really won't, because for some reason Kay and Arthur seem to have completely cut off ties with each other. And Percival sort of thinks it's some sort of family spat that they've probably got in. And Narcians bring up that they were in-laws. Well, actually, they're adopted brothers. And Donnie begins to make fun of how Gawain greeted her father. And to that, Gawain just flicks her finger and sends Donnie flying, leaving this large bump on his head with a bunch of books and parchments falling on him, which sort of surprised it, which Gawain seems to not want anyone to see. And Anne and Narcians take a look at all the different books and scrolls with magic tones, and that seem to have a bunch of notes with them. Narcians reading one of the notes: there is a way to transplant spirits into an inorganic vessel, but is the same possible for an organic human body? But if it was a baby infused with a life spirit, the failures keep piling up. Summoning is a tricky task, but I can't give up on it now, not until I can yell at him to his face again. The two look at each other, and then everyone's silent as they realize, she's been experimenting all for the sake of bringing Percival back. And it is really sweet. I think with Percival, even just like, I think Percival is actually like starting to realize how much he actually did mean to these niggas. That even Gawain, where the person who without question, even despite knowing he was also a knight of prophecy like her, just kicked him just for getting in his way, and now put in so much effort to try and bring him back. As obviously I have stated previous times before, I'm pretty sure that Gawain actually sees everyone else as her only friends. she is really just like Escanor in that regards, where obviously at first they didn't really think much of other people. Well, Escanor did more so. He was more so part of, despite the daytime pride, he was worried he'd hurt people and shit. But like, they ended up joining their respective groups, and the people in those groups made them feel wanted and that they weren't alone in this world. And yeah, so in that regard, Gwen is quite loyal to her cause. If only I could find a girl as loyal as that in this, modern dating sphere. But we push past that. Gwen goes on to berate them, talking about how it's rude of them to just invite themselves here, calling them a bunch of trash as well, with Anne sort of agreeing with her there. And Percival goes on to tell Gawain that, they plan on going on another adventure to save Britannia, with Gawain bring up a valid point of how can I trust someone who might just often disappear again for no reason. And Percival just saying that, but I won't, okay? I won't vanish on you again. I promising that he won't. And Gawain, obviously being very reasonable, saying that I don't need a half-hearted promise. And obviously we see this panel of her crying. I don't think we edit, apart from the fight with Pentegar, but that was for a different reason. She was just crying because she was petty. Here is actual like emotions for someone else, and that she actually cares about, grateful that they're back. And yeah, and says it's an absolute order to not disappear, with everyone else smiling and Percival agreeing, okay. But yeah, all this talking about him disappearing and stuff is gonna get brought up a lot, as it should, to be honest. 2 years, broski. 2 years. You left them. You left us without you for how many months was it, guys? I can't remember, but it was definitely longer than when Meliodas left us. 2 years. Endeavors. How much was it? 6 months? Nearly 6 months for us? I was starving for Percival content. No Diddy. I'm not sure if that sounds crazy or not, but still. I really hope the rest of the cast really do not let him live it down, that he just up and like I can't fully blame him, but like at the same time it's like ferment. But anyways, we get a shot of back to outside the castle or boat, and someone asks if they can fly or something, or sail, and I'm guessing that's Gawain answering that it can sail the seas, the skies, and even underground, which the place might serve as their new base coming forward, sort of like how the Seven Deadly Sins had the Boar's Hat in. So it might serve as their sort of moving fortress going forward. And Gawain, why do I keep mixing them up? Because they're both so precious, that's why. Okay. So Percival is just up on the railing, sort of just loving the breeze and stuff, with Donnie being worried that he'll fall. But this nigga can fly, so that isn't really a concern. So Gawain calls out to Percival. He looks back, and he gets greeted with a passionate sun straight to the dome. Also, we'd think, as he just dodges up, just flies away from it, with everyone else shocked at Gawain's sudden attack, with not wondering if she's just gone mad. As we know, Gawain is prone to her temper tantrums, but obviously she starts rapping the set and starts chanting Kili Velcanam Scratimata Galdios, and ice starts to form around Percival. I'm pretty sure Galdios is actually a Latin word for ice or something related to it. And we get a new spell from Gawain from her possibly infinite toolkit, Spiral Hail, which is just a bunch of like hail, giant ice balls just going at Percival, who slices through all of them with his magic sword. And then obviously again repping the set and chanting Rosamund Selclara Celeros. She uses teleport right behind Percival, who instantly tracks her. And yeah, we get she bulks up incredibly. That might be the most bulked up we've ever seen her, and she hits the meanest backhand I done ever seen. This shit was when I first saw the leaks of this specific page, I was getting Vietnam level flashbacks to whenever when I was a badass little kid. I needed correcting, and everyone is sort of shocked that Gawain's strength and Nasian's calls out to Percival, who reveals he blocked with his bare hands but obviously they're literally on fire still. But he heals himself using mini Percivals, which again is absolutely insane. And we just get this this panel of bulked up Gawain in the dress just stands up like this. Like Loki put that hand out, that might look crazy. And she goes on to say that Percival always did aggravate her before landing down, and it seemed that that's the end of this little scrap, as she mentions how she trained herself up while Percival was still having a lap, and obviously she shrinks that back down, and is kind of frustrated that somehow Percival is much stronger as well compared to 2 years ago. Percival goes on to state that it wasn't her full effort either, and Gawain goes on to say, of course it wasn't, and she didn't even exercise, not even 10%. Do you know what this means, lads and ladies? Do you know what this means, lads and ladies? These guys are absolute monsters. The Fortnite, like, I was working on a video predicting how strong they're gonna be in the series, but I can't lie, this little demonstration and these statements already blowing. There's no point in me continuing that video. I might as well delete the recording I did, because I'm gonna have to completely reevaluate this shit. And Percival goes on to say that when he was a spirit, he recalled a lot about how to use his magic. So I'm guessing across the 2 years he was a spirit, he obviously got better and better at it, and that he's still getting used to this body again, since it's obviously been 2 years since he moved in it. So obviously we've seen the performance he performed against Worldane. We've seen, and obviously we just seen this little spat he had with Gawain, and he's still trying to fully readjust to his body. With Don Nicole saying what we're all thinking, you monster. And going on to say that he almost had a heart attack. With Anne saying, that was Anne saying that, sorry, my fault. And Gawain sort of apologizing to Anne and noticing how much more ladylike she had become in 2 years, with Percival just outright stating, yeah, her breasts are bigger. Like, yo, like, don't ever get these two in a club for real. And obviously asking if they can at least pretend to be sorry, which obviously that would never happen. And obviously things moving on, Gawain begins to talk about the plan of finding Lancelot and Team Tristan, and that obviously they have to head to the Cauldron of Anfoin, with Nasian's completely mispronouncing it, which you'd expect Percival to do, and getting confirmation that Tristan's group is there. But Donnie goes on to say that they've been trying to find a location for it for years, and Gawain goes on to say that she'll handle that, with Donnie questioning it, and next panel will be hit into the ground. And Gawain goes on to state that Team Tristan is being held in Anfoin, which again is worrisome, because doesn't that mean all of his forces have the Percival sword if Tristan took it? But anyways, Gawain goes on to state that the main issue is that the person who runs it is Beltripe, the Green Knight of the Four Evils. And I can't, the crosses behind him obviously symbolizing tombstones, and the way he's tilting his head, the little smile on his armor right there, he looks like a genuine menace, and I can't wait to see what else he has in store. I can't wait for a face reveal as well. We'll definitely get that. The main mission is to just take him back. Like, Kate, bro, you see the little phony tinsels on this shit? Like, he was doing it like this nigga for real, bro. Like, if we're going off pure, I know a lot of people aren't gonna like me saying this word, but off of pure aura alone, he's probably the top of all four evils. I bet even with the face reveal, it'll maximize his aura even more. But anyways, obviously everyone's shocked that one of the four evils is running that shit, and that Donnie obviously giving the concern, being the self-insert for the audience, is like, oh, Like, are you okay in the head, fam? Like, that guy's an actual unit. And that Gawain goes on, floats up, mentioning how she knows his capabilities, and that but mentions that they're about to have the best chance of defeating him yet. Percival asking why is that, and we get a little exposition from Gawain saying that the Cauldron of Anfuin is the perfect place to lock up those against the paradise of Camelot. Why it is the perfect place to lock up people who oppose Camelot, we'll find out whenever that next chapter drops. God bless Suzuki's health so that he may get better and we can continue getting content, just so that generally he's better. And she goes on to mention Beltribe is going to hold an event to pick out the best prospects from those yearning to obviously come out of that possible torture chamber, calling it the Anfuin Gladiator Festival. So what this means is we're getting a tournament arc. Let's go. It's probably going to a tournament arc to reflect the one that from the two from Seven Deadly Sins, the Vital. Was it called the Vital or Visal Fight Festival that we got in season 1 of Seven Deadly Sins for the anime? In the anime, where they obviously entered it just to retrieve Diane's sacred treasure, Gideon. And obviously the second tournament arc that happened in Seven Deadly Sins was the one that Gloxinia and Droll held. I forgot the name of it, but that was also to end up linked for all the sins to eventually link up. So I think maybe that's probably what this Anfuin Gladiator Festival is gonna end up being for the 4 nights. Because I don't remember if we've had a tournament arc yet in it. Have we? No, unless it was so inconsequential in my mind that I just forgot about. No, we haven't. Yeah, that's the end of the chapter. Like I said, we're getting a tournament arc, so that would be nice. Tournament arcs aren't necessarily the greatest archetype of arc in fiction in general, but most of the time Nakaba doesn't even finish those tournament arcs anyways because something else big happens. But yeah, so general thoughts and feelings about this chapter. I was worried we wouldn't get a chapter. I saw the hiatus news. We won't be getting since Nakaba's health has been declining. What is going on an indefinite hiatus? So I'm quite worried. As a Tower of God fan, I know what it's like with these indefinite hiatuses. So I can't lie. The Tower of God PTSD is kicking in right now. This was a good chapter regardless. A little send off before he has to, before he heads back into the healing pod. It was nice seeing Gawain. We got somewhat of a better outlook on the situation between Kay and Arthur. This also confirms that she doesn't have, it's not an illusion and she's not been brainwashed or anything. It's just that she herself has made the choice to become more feminine, I guess, for some reason. Not that I'm personally complaining. It was nice to see what I assume is her fully charged state, because she did she talked about it like the way Vegeta talks about he's the principal Saiyans. He always screams the accolade of it, but it never pulls through. But unlike Vegeta, this shit seems to actually have power, and to see that it was not even 10% of her fighting in that moment. Neither of them were really going seriously either, but it's exciting to think about what's going to come up in these next coming chapters when Nakaba returns. They'll probably have to go under aliases, get some disguises maybe, when maybe not so much. And then obviously we'll probably get a little beef between Percival and Tristan, which honestly it might end up really serious, because we do know that nigga Tristan does have anger issues on some Gohan shit. And honestly, he would still be like, I'm pretty sure he'd be happy that Percival's come back, but he would still be pretty angry at how Percival sort of just left them the responsibility of being a knight, especially with how much Meliodas, his own dad, trusted Percival. And we all know that Tristan, one of Tristan's biggest insecurities is that he isn't his dad doesn't trust him in something as much as other people. First, it's with Lancelot fighting Arthur. That was one thing, and then obviously another with Percival keeping hold of the Coffin of Eternal Dark. I mean, I say that, but it was Tristan who didn't mind Percival having it either. And so I think we'll probably get a big fight between Percival and Tristan, which might end up pretty serious, which may be the event that leads to the whole tournament falling apart to begin with. So yeah, maybe we'll find out also in this coming arc why Kay and Arthur seem to have not spoken or cut off connections completely for some reason. We'll get a bit more insight in Beltribe. Again, face reveal would be pretty nice. Not that I really care for a face reveal. Him just having the helmet on. Look at his fit, bro. I'm not gonna go on this rant again. He just exudes I'm him energy. And he is. He is. Until we see how much Ironside and Pelagard have powered up from floating chaos, he is the peril of the full perils. But if anything, there's a possibility we might see Ironside and Pelagard's new versions in this arc as well. We know Pelagard likes a good fight. Who's to say that that's going to change even after floating chaos, like the way he I gotta stop. Even though, like, obviously he's had his I don't think it changes the core part of their personality. They just forget their loved ones, I guess. And which again, Arthur is a sick man with a sick force in that regard. So we might get a Pelagard Percival interaction too. Yeah, it was nice seeing. It's just nice seeing these guys in action, even if that was a little spat. Passionate Son. We get more insight in Gawain's again possibly infinite bag of spells. The fact that she's even working on her summoning, which may be something that will become a permanent part of her arsenal in the future. So yeah, it's nice seeing Gawain. Nice seeing that she's been training, and obviously we again. I'm assuming this is the full charged form. This looks eerily similar to the one, and it's not even noon. Again, Gawain just being able to shrink and adjust her form is a pretty good way to offset the weakness of Sunshine, because she literally just stores magic power rather than just have her body release it over and over again. She really just might become the Sunshine wielder, outshining. Obviously, she will eventually outshine, no pun intended, Escanor and Mael. But yeah, I wonder if she still has her sword Rita, and maybe she'll bless up Percival with some gear as well. If not, maybe Percival will have to steal a sword from someone in a fight, or maybe he might just go the whole tournament barehanded and continue making the magic blade. Who knows? But maybe we'll see Lancelot in there having infiltrated, because we know he has transformation magic. Who's to say it hasn't improved to a point he can turn into a whole different person? So maybe he's already infiltrated there. And then there's also the possibility that he's on his way to meet what's her face, Guinevere, because one of the things Guinevere did mention is that when he was 18, they'd meet in the tower that she's locked up in. If that's not this arc, that might be the arc after this one or the arc after that. But anyways, I'm ranting a bit too much now. Anyway, I hope Nakaba's health gets better. Thank you again for this chapter before you go on your indefinite hiatus to heal. But yeah, that's about it for me. I'll won't be uploading for the next 2 weeks anyways, because I'll be off on holiday. But yeah, love you guys. See you till next time.